This is episode 132 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. What does the fox say? Ring, ding, 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 ding. Manzano. If you're not watching, if you're listening, Marcel has a fox hat on, and that's why that was completely necessary. Will never stop rolling. Haywood.
If you can't time your parries, just get out of the way.
And Ryan, Suka Staniszewski. All right, guys. First, we're going to jump into our announcements and news. I know those of you who are excited for the System Open series that's starting here in December in like 2 weeks, you might be wondering, what are the prizes, Dion? Well, I've been knocking on that FFG door and saying, what are the prizes? And they've assured me that sometime this week, so maybe by the time we've even finished recording this podcast, maybe by the time you're listening to it, it maybe already released it. But I'm letting you know, I was like, hey, where's our prizes? Because it's in 2 weeks and we want to make sure that people are excited about it. So we should have prizes this week. There are going to be new prizes. So confirmed, new stuff coming. What is it? I don't know. We don't know yet. Now here, I want a small point of discussion I'd like to have with you guys, gentlemen. We had Worlds, how many weeks ago now was it? Where's calendar? Was this like 6 weeks ago now?
It's like 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the System Open series is, at least from my perspective, being at all of the premier events here in the United States, is probably one of the bigger ones, type of events out there in the United States and each of the countries that people really get excited about. Of course, there's Worlds. There is things like Nova that have a long-standing tradition of having good attendance. But I'm kind of surprised that we don't have the System Open prizes announced and ready to go, especially with, starting with a new company where you got Yeti Gaming, who's taking over, running the X-Wing events. I don't know. I just feel like from a business performance standpoint, I'm surprised that they don't have this stuff announced because it's literally around the corner. Any thoughts on that?
I've been asking for a while because it's quite a trip for me to make it out there to Philadelphia, and I've been wanting to go, but I haven't committed because I don't know if the prizes and the support was similar to a Grand Championship. I don't think it's worth it, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's more similar to what the System Open was or what the Continentals have been,
mm-hmm.
then I would probably just take the time to, to me, I think it's worth it. I think, since, and not everybody's at the same stage, but I think since I have gotten the chance to go to so many different events and go to so many different tournaments and travel for it, I've got to get pickier or more selective about which ones I go to and why.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the swag and some of the support, I think, it's one of the ways that I'm going to do. It's one of the methods that I'm going to use to figure out which ones I go to and which ones I don't. And I actually think that if you look at least, Dion, you've been to as many of these, more than these than I have.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that the level of excitement and the level of attendance is somewhat correlated to the level of support, official support.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see the Grand Championships were, even at Nova, I mean, the Grand Championships were pretty thin compared to even some of the other hyperspace trials that were larger. Definitely much, there's less Grand Championships, but yet people were more excited about the System Opens. And I think a lot of that has to do with the price support. And back to your question about professionalism, we're 2 weeks out, and that new company that wants to do well and get off on the right foot, I don't know who's dropping the ball, but they're not getting off on the best foot. And FFG might be setting them up for not for failure, but setting them up for not the best.
Less success, right?
Yes, not because if they got around and promoted it, they've got the blogs, they've got all the different podcasters, they've got all the Facebook groups, and they went out there and they promoted the heck out of all the support, and they made it a big deal. Then people will think it's a big deal, and they'll go, and they'll be, they'll be in line. But if FFG and the other company that's coming in aren't talking about it and they're not really excited about it, I went to the PAX website and I didn't see anything about registration or events. There's no incentive for somebody to plan their trip ahead of time.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I actually was gonna mention. Even the PAX website doesn't have an event schedule up yet. At least the last time I looked. Very, very strange. But I know some people are playing the trust game. They're like, I'm going to trust that there's going to be something there. Yeti Gaming has announced that there is an event. There is, if you actually go to their website, it's YetiGamingEvents.com. Don't just look at Yeti Gaming, but Yeti Gaming Events. They have like the description of what the tournament is going to be. That is there. So we'll see how things end up rolling out. I did reach out to them to stream and stuff. I'm still waiting to hear back. We had some back and forth, and I haven't heard things in a while. So I don't know what that means. Should hope I have a plane ticket and a hotel room. If I can't stream, I guess I'll play. But as of right now, we will see. The other thing going on, if you guys hadn't heard, if you bought a Tantive 4, the new one, like the second edition one in the box, you may not have noticed that your dial is incorrect. You have a wrong dial. So, Matt Holland from FFG, basically explaining here in an FFG forum post what you're supposed to do and the errors that were made. Essentially, if you have the conversion kit, your CR90 Tantive 4 dials are fine. It's only the ones in the second edition box, the actual ship, that are wrong. So what they're going to do is you got a contact service, but as for the timeline when you'll get your new dials, that's to be announced because they don't know how long it's going to take. They basically have to put it in the production line. They messed up. They're going to put it in the production line. And as of right now, we are just waiting. And they basically said, like, worst comes to worst, play with your old dial, but use the provided chart here that they have showing the actual dial maneuvers versus the ones that are on your physical dial, which are incorrect. And the other thing I wanted to cover is there was a post or a message that was sent by FFG Marketing as well about some of their plans for how they're going to use the upcoming products page. A lot of people look at that page about like on the boat, like things are on the boat, they're shipping and all that. Essentially, I'm just going to read part of this so that you can understand how they're going to be using the upcoming product page from now on. So this is, quote, basically in the new upcoming page, every product is in production until it ships from our warehouse to our retailers, which is when it changes to shipping now. So basically, there's only going to be two different things on that upcoming products. It's either in production or shipping. So there is no more on the boat, off the boat, loaded, on the dock, okay? Any other variations there, it's only one or the other. That is it. And the reason for this is to counteract some of the assumptions that were being made and just trying to make it more clear with consumers when things are going to be available. And hopefully what they're going to be doing is adding projected release months, similar to what was released to us as content creators for that we were mentioning earlier, or not earlier, a couple episodes ago, about some of the upcoming waves and what's happening there. So hopefully that all makes sense. But that's their plans. That upcoming product page won't be a won't be a way to try to, mystic the assuming when things are going to be received. Basically, that page means nothing now. I mean, right? That's the truth, right? That page, if we're going to have expected months, then that's what that is. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's jump into our first topic. I'm actually going to flip these, gentlemen. I actually want to start with the turkey shootout, okay? Because I've been talking too much. I want you guys. I want to hear your faces. So, this weekend we got the turkey shootout in Iowa, and Will Haywood, a native of Iowa, okay, is gonna give us the lowdown. What is the turkey shootout? What are the build requirements? And Will, tell me how I'm gonna win this event this weekend. Thank you.
Well, I don't know how you're gonna win it. It's gonna be tough. But the turkey shootout. So it's in Dubuque, Iowa, and I believe it's at Comic World. I gotta double check that. But I believe it's at Comic World, their local game store there in Dubuque, Iowa. And the turkey shoot is a charity event. It's put on by the local gaming group there as a fundraiser for Toys for Tots. It's a charity that gives toys to children during Christmas time. You can also they also do like coats and things as well. But so the tournament, you bring some toys, give them away. Brad Stryzek, who's a friend of the show, has amassed a bunch of prizes for everybody, including faction prizes, which is going to be the most interesting thing, because there's a couple factions that got interesting, well, shall we say, restrictions. But so it goes down that you have a single ship, 64 points, small or medium base, no larges, even though it would be cool.
Brad.
Oh man, it's not. Yeah. Anyways, but so you put down. It's 3 rounds, best of 3, 25 minutes per round of 3. So it ends up being about 75 minutes with your opponent. And what else? Rocks don't move. So only 1 rock placement. So better get that right. Don't just take your time on that rock placement, because if you mess it up, it's going to be there for the next 3 games. And I'm trying to think of. Oh, I think a new rule was that. So Dion, if I'm at 64. Mm-hmm. You're at 63, so you have a little bit of a bid there.
Okay.
And we're both flying the same, say, I-5s.
Okay.
You get to choose first and third games. First player.
Okay.
And then the second game, it actually rotates to me. So you won't get it to be first player all 3 games.
Oh. So my bid only matters 2 out of the 3 times.
Yeah.
Potentially.
You only got to win 2 out of 3 games. So
that's true. That's true. But the second time it rotates, so there's a bit. Okay, I like it. So you can't just be like, all right, I brought an I6 with that at 47 points, and
yeah,
and
the naked tier with 11-point bid isn't always gonna move last. As cool as that would be.
All right, cool.
So it's a little twist on that, just to get things, because the I5s and I6 is a pretty heated competition, especially one-on-one. So, but I think that's it. Like
so you said, are there any? So you said there might be. Are there any specific restrictions per faction when I'm building, besides just 64?
No, it's just you can't fly large bases.
Okay, just no large bases. All right.
And 64 points means that like you can't bring out Trade Federation drone. It's not gonna work. You can't even bring a vulture at all. Like that's just not gonna work. Like so it does limit some factions to a very small amount of ships.
All right. Well, so let's go ahead and let's have some fun here. Faction per faction. Let's see. Let's just go. Let's each give a viable pilot. You don't maybe necessarily need to give a build, but if you want to, you can have some fun with it. In each faction. We'll just kind of race through this. You don't have to give away your hand as to what you're going to play this weekend. I haven't even decided. This is how I'm deciding right now. We'll go ahead and we'll just get the probably the most difficult one out of the way. CIS. I think you already mentioned it, Will. Trade Federation drones. You can't really do it. What am I limited to in the CIS?
Well, you pretty much have hyena bombers. You could do, I guess.
I guess.
I mean, you're gonna get to like 50-ish points or so, and it's. I guess you could do a bombardment drone. You can put it on the board, but it's not recommended. So you basically either have Nantex or the Bulb Lab to choose from.
All right, so like I'm going like Chertek, right? Probably right? Maybe.
Actually, yeah, Brewer is actually the right choice because he's I5.
Okay, fair.
I mean, it's do you want rerolls and I4 or do you want I5? And Lone Wolf's legal, so if you got an open talent slot,
Lone Wolf's legal.
yeah,
put it on. Done.
it is legal. I mean, there's a lot of ships like a lot of other good EPTs. It's hard to say what that exactly means, but that's also kind of expensive. It was 5 points, but
cool.
Yeah. Brewer fits pretty easily.
All right, so that's a CIS build. Let's move on to the next faction. All right, Ryan, is there a specific faction that you kind of think like, this would be interesting? Where do you want to jump to?
I'm gonna go with Scum.
All right, boom.
I'm usually not a Scum guy, but I'm throwing out like Ace, building, bid, window, like none of it. I'm having none of it. I'm here to ruin their day.
Okay.
I'm gonna ruin their day with Constable Zuvio and a mess of upgrades.
Okay.
I'm gonna make him 64 points.
Oh, thick boy. All right, start at 35. Here we go.
Cloaking device.
Pattern
analyzer. Prox mines, delayed fuses, and mall crew. He is not there to shoot. He is there to put you in places where you don't want to be.
Bad touch. That is hilarious. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Constable Zuvio, which competitively you really don't see him out there too much, but he says if you would drop a device, you may launch it using a one straight template instead. So you can put it in front of you. And of course, the quad jumper has the tugboat tractor array, assigning tractor tokens out the front as an action. That seems pretty strong.
Yeah, especially when medium is the largest base you can get against it, so it can always tractor anybody.
That's right. Always a threat. Marcel, give me a scum ship.
Let's go Sarasu.
Oh, okay, so that's an M3A. Sarasu.
M31A. Yeah, M31A. Let's put Sarasu. Let's put an ion cannon on old Sarasu.
Okay.
And let's put Lone Wolf because it's allowed. And what is it? Is it stealth device? Yeah, there you go. So basically, it's a 3-die attack. Doing ions with 4 agility and 2 defensive rerolls. You're only getting attacked once unless somebody has veteran turret gunner. Mm-hmm. So you can use both rerolls for defense every single time. So
all right.
I actually ran the math on that, and if somebody hits it with 3 attack, with 3, let's say hit.
Yep.
As long as Sarasu has a focus, the probability of that attack hitting is less than 1%.
Gate of Storms. All right. Hey, those of you in the chat, let me know. Give us some 64-point builds. All right. Will, give me a scum ship.
I have 4-LOM in the G1A.
All right.
My 4-LOM's got Mist Hunter, Advanced Sensors, and Elusive. Red moves all day.
I missed it. What was the second one?
About the trolling.
You said Elusive, Mist Hunter, and what?
Advanced Sensors.
Oh, that's good. That seems good.
Yeah. It's a thing of time on target. Stress them and 4K. or a stop. Just you can put that arc wherever you want. And the Mist Hunter lets you barrel roll before your dial. That's really, really good.
Seems strong. All right, and for mine, this is just because for the lulz, we're gonna get Soul Sixa. All right, we're gonna get Soul Sixa. We're going to we're gonna get Connor nets out there. We're gonna take some prox mines. We're at 58 now. Ion cannon turret because you can, and you have a point left over for crack shot. Sure, there it is.
Oh man,
Bam.
she'd really like skilled bombardier though.
I mean, you're probably right, but she's too thick. All right,
Drop
fine.
the dorsal. Drop the dorsal.
Just drop the turret. Boom. We got 4 points now.
Dorsal.
We did it. There it is. Soul Sixa. For fun, Soul Sixa allows you to use any one template to drop it, so you can hard one and one bank your bombs. Sounds like fun. All right, next faction. Choose, Will.
Let's go Resistance.
All right, give me the first one.
This is this is kind of a joke one, but there's very few T70s that I think would work. But actually, Snap Wexley. It sounds like a great one.
Okay. Get a little extra movement.
Yeah, after you fully execute a 2 to 4 speed maneuver, you can perform a boost. You know what's pretty funny? Black one and static discharge veins. That's a try to imagine Dion a 4 forward boost, 4 forward, tag you with an ion.
That's hilarious. Got it.
Yeah, it's exactly 64 points.
Boom. All right. Oh, I just broke my star. Ooh, ooh. I'm a bad father. Marcel.
Yeah, this is actually he took the one that I was gonna do. So let's do
He took my
let's
answer.
figure something out here on the spot. So let's put Lulo.
All right, Lulo, the A-wing. Okay.
Yeah, let's do a little Lulo with Lone Wolf, Trick Shot, and Advanced Optics. Oh,
Boom. 56
flying
points.
around,
You don't even want a
blowing
missile.
dice.
Don't need it. Too much
we
skill.
We got proton rockets.
Oh, okay.
1 point bid.
Point as well. Yep.
Strong. All right, Ryan.
I'm gonna go with the invincible fin.
The thickest fin. All right.
Lone Wolf, perceptive co-pilot, pattern analyzer, stealth device.
Oh, hilarious. All right, well, I got to take it. So, Lone Wolf. I heard perceptive.
Yep, pattern analyzer, stealth
stealth?
device.
Oh my god.
I wonder what's harder to hit, the Sarasu or this fin?
Somebody run the numbers.
Probably that fin. You're gonna win on the bidding war. That's the secret sauce right there. Is that halved fin still has a lot of points on the board.
And when everything else moves
11.
after him, he gets to move first, so he'll never be blocked. He'll always get his focuses.
Look at my focus tokens. You can't take them away. They're mine. And let's see. For mine, you know, we'll just a little diversity here. We'll go with the space couch. We're gonna grab Covanel. We're immediately going for Leia, cause why not? That puts us at 57. I mean, I guess R4 works too if you wanted it, but I don't know. I don't know where to go from there. But Kova with Leia, have a good time. Lone Wolf, because you can.
Lone Wolf.
When in doubt.
When in doubt, Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf.
Oh my goodness, my screen's going crazy. All right. There it is. The Resistance. Marcel, your call.
All right, let's go Rebel.
Rebels. All right. What's the first one?
Let's do something fun. Let's put Leia. I mean, not Leia. Let's put Hera on the attack shuttle.
Hera in the attack shuttle. All right.
Yeah. So for crew, let's add Cassian Andor, so you can have her version of Sense and change dial.
Give me your dial. All right.
Then we'll do Lone Wolf because why not?
Because you can.
Yeah. ion cannon turret,
Okay.
and shield upgrade. Why not?
Boom.
Just basically seeing where people are going to be and not being where they are.
I like it. I like it. Will.
All right, so I think I'm actually gonna fly this because I got those fancy worlds things.
Okay.
It's Jack Porkins. the
Okay.
man, Jack Porkins.
All right.
We're gonna put this is the combo piece. Chopper Astromech.
Okay.
It says action: spend one non-recurring charge from another equipped upgrade to recover one shield as an action. That's weapons disabled lists shield healing. So we need some non-recurring charges. Put some ion torpedoes on there.
Okay.
And elusive.
Oh.
We'll start turning in there. Also fill out the points with a shield upgrade. So we're 7 health. Basically a T70. Anyways, so this is funny. So Jack does a red move, gets his elusive back, rolls to see if he. I guess I should read Jack Forkins' ability. Because no one knows what this dude does. After you receive a stress token, you can roll an attack die to remove it. On a hit result, suffer 1 damage. So you do the 4K. Get your elusive charge back. You roll to see if you damage yourself. If you do damage yourself, Chopper heals you with either your ion torpedo or the elusive charge you just got back. Rinse, repeat, forever.
I will tell you, man, there was one time, I forget who it was, but there was a few players from Poland who came over like 6 months ago, and one of the guys brought 4 X-Wings, and one of them was Jack, and I was like, that's cute, and I was like, oh, wait. That seems good. He never rolled a hit one time. I felt so bad.
If Jack can hold it,
I can hold it.
Pretty good. You're just like a little defender out there. Like 4K, focus, all the things.
That's awesome. All right, Ryan.
So this one isn't too crazy, but I mean, if you're facing off against each other, they gotta shoot you. So I'm gonna go Wolfaro with Magva Yarrow crew.
Okay.
Like, you shoot me, I'm gonna get a lock, and the more you shoot me, the angrier I get.
Strong. All right, because that leaves you right there at 64.
Yep.
Perfection. I think if I was going, I mean, is it a cop out just to go like wedge? I was like, we're going wedge, and we're going lone wolf, and probably regen and done. There you go. Your basic bro, rebel tech, right there. Who hasn't got to choose yet? I forgot who didn't get to choose yet. Ryan, choose.
I'll go with First Order.
First Order. All right, we have like 3 choices. Go.
I know. I'm gonna take the one that probably most people are looking at. Midnight. Lone Wolf, Pattern Analyzer, and Afterburners. Oh,
wrong one. Sorry. Midnight is a FO.
The original OG 1v1 king.
You said Afterburners?
Mm-hmm.
Lone Wolf, and what was the other one?
Pattern Analyzer.
Bam. So for those of you who don't remember, Omega Leader from first edition, it's fine. You saved yourself a lot of pain and suffering. It says, while you defend or perform an attack, if you have a lock on the enemy ship, the one other enemy ship that you're flying in this format against, that ship cannot modify its dice. The dice cannot be modified.
No
that focus?
No anything.
Nothing. Midnight is one of the few ways where you could look at a Jedi and go, no, bro. Okay?
You lock a Jedi and go, ha.
Your force tokens, cute. And that leaves you at 59 points. You got a nice bid there, and Midnight is initiative 6. It's important. That's important. All right, Marcel.
Give me quick draw.
All right, QD in the SF.
And let's not put the gunner on him. Let's just because you're only playing against one other ship anyway. So let's put concussion missiles on him.
Okay.
That way you can get the 3 dice out of the front or the back.
Mm-hmm.
Afterburner sounds fun.
Cool.
57. He's and what do we want to put? Let's put fire control system so he can double tap with
some mods.
Actually, he can't double tap with a missile, right?
No.
No, that's the problem. Is that your your follow up is only going to be 2.
Yeah, just take the afterburners out and put the title on them.
The not title, the Special Forces gunner.
Yeah, that's basically the title.
63 points. Do you want to lose the missile then?
Yeah, go with afterburners instead.
There you go, 63. You got 1 point to spend. Do you want to spend it?
Crack shot on there.
Boom. All right, Will.
I'm gonna go backdraft actually.
Okay.
I don't know if the silencers can hold it, but maybe you can answer that. I'm gonna go backdraft. He's a lot cheaper than quick draw, and I don't think he needs the gunner, so he gets all the upgrades: afterburners, collision detector, pattern analyzer, and lone wolf.
Collision attack, lone wolf. All right. So that puts you at 5 plus 5, 61. There you go. Bam.
Yeah, you're a turret. Get it done.
You know what to do. Love it. All right, and I'll go silencer because nobody gave the silencer any love. You can't put Kylo because he's 76. So you go. I mean, well, Blackout has a problem. Recoil.
His initiative's too high.
Trash. Yeah, I mean, I guess you only take Blackout because of initiative, right? Not because of his ability.
His card says you're I5 double reposition.
Yep. Plus crack shot. Done. All right.
Yep.
The first order. So right there, Blackout with crack shot. Again, anybody who's just joining us, we're talking about the Turkey Trot. Turkey Trot. Sorry, that's there's a race here locally called the Turkey Trot, the Turkey Shootout in Iowa that we're going to be hitting up this weekend. If you don't know what we're talking about, we can actually just go ahead and just drop the event in the chat right now. And we'll also include it in the link of this event. So, in this podcast.
Text 61480, Brad.
I think so. It seems like it.
He's been.
Hey, Brad, drop that link in the chat. Brad will take care of that. All right. So we have Empire and Republic left. Let's hit up the Republic. I'll go first because I haven't go. So no, it's Michael. Hi, Michael. Michael Juris?
No, it's he's a local player out of Dubuque.
All right, cool. Well, here you go. I will go ahead and drop the link in the chat. Oh, he beat me to it. All right.
There you go.
Bam. So come on out, guys. It should be a good time. And we have a hotel room. We'll be hanging out afterwards. Get some food. Drink some adult beverages or water. Whatever floats your boat. Afterwards, let's hang out. Michael Juris is here. All right, as well. So we got the Republic. So I'm going to go ahead and slap a Jedi on it, okay, and hope that I just don't play against Midnight. And I think 3 Force sounds really, really good. So does 3 attack dice, so you just take 7B, and you're done. You have 1 point left over at 63 points. And there's no 1 point thing that's worth anything.
Shot. If you're shooting somebody through a gas cloud, range 3.
Nah. That's that situation's gonna come up, isn't it? All right, Ryan.
I'm going to go with something that we've actually seen before in actual competitive play, and that's CLT Obi-Wan with Sense and R2A6.
Okay, all right.
Obi-Wan has the knowledge. He'll know. He'll change and adjust and adapt.
R2A6 and not 7B. CLT. Boom. Done. Very nice. That's good. That's a good build. I like that. Will.
I want to say a real one in Rick, but I'm gonna do R2D2 instead.
Wait, R2D2 in the Y-Wing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was like, wait, R2D. Oh, yeah, he is a pilot. All right,
He is a
R2D2 in the
pilot,
Y-Wing.
it turns out. I'm gonna put Chancellor Palpatine on him.
Get stressed.
Beep boop, beep boop. I am the Senate. All right,
Yeah.
continue.
I continue. Oh yeah, Ion Cannon turret. It's pretty good. Lone Wolf, because that's fair.
Yep.
And why not proton bombs? People might be behind you.
There it is. 64 points. Hilarious. I love that. All right, and Marcel.
Okay, let's go. Danae Ellerby.
What pilot is that even? What?
It's a Naboo.
It's a Naboo.
Oh my God. Who?
One that's never been played.
Danae Elberger. I'll just go ahead and read the ability because like nobody. Maybe there's like that one person out there who's like, I play that pilot every time. It's so good. It's Initiative 3 Naboo Starfighter. While you defend or perform an attack, if the speed of your revealed maneuver is the same as your enemy ships, that ship's dice cannot be modified.
Offense or defense. So it's the anti-Rick. And putting him with, basically he's pseudo midnight, if you can guess correctly. So we're going to throw passive sensors and proton torpedoes on him.
Okay.
And let's do Regen and Daredevil. R2 and Daredevil.
All right.
Just for...
That brings you to 59.
No, actually, no. Lone Wolf. Regen and Lone Wolf. Sorry.
Okay.
I had
All
extra
right.
points. So Lone Wolf instead of Daredevil, yeah.
All right, 61. Cool.
Is that
cool.
61?
Yeah.
How come mine is more expensive on my screen? Passive sensors, proton torpedoes?
I think that's what I did. Protons. Did I put the wrong droid on it?
R2?
Oh yeah, that's what I put R4. That's my bad.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, I went first edition there for a second. I still get those two. I still get those two mixed up, man. All right, and last but certainly not the least, the Empire. The Empire, the most popular faction in X-Wing, because of the TIE Fighter game. Maybe is that the reason? Who knows? All right, we got a lot of choices here, gentlemen. Will, you're first.
I don't even know if this ship I want to fly can get that expensive. I gotta double check for a second. No, it's nowhere near. Oh man. I'll pass.
Okay, all right, Marcel. Marcel.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I did not hear. Okay, let's put Major Vinder on the... what are they called?
Gunboat.
Gumbo. Pew, pew, pew,
There you
pew, pew,
go.
pew, pew.
Let's put the missiles on him.
The missile configuration. Okay.
Yep.
The OS1 arsenal loadout.
Yep. Let's go with the advanced proton torpedoes for range 1 and diamond boron missiles for range 2 and 3.
Oh, sorry. I did a thing here. So that you said diamond boron and what?
Diamond boron missiles and advanced proton torpedoes.
All right. There you go. 53.
Lone Wolf.
All right.
Fire control system.
Mm-hmm.
And advanced slam.
All right. Sounds good. That brings you to 63. That is a thick vendor.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right. Brian.
I'm going to go... I'm going to assume this just won't work, but I like the idea because no one flies him. The TIE Aggressor, Lieutenant Kestel.
Okay.
Doing Lone Wolf, Fifth Brother, Ion Cannon Turret, and Shield upgrade. and you just use Lone Wolf and Fifth Brother as the way to mod your dice offensively, and eye on them, and just say, okay, all of your blank and focus results defensively, just get rid of them. Can't modify them if I spend my focus. It'll put you in walk you off the board.
I like it. All right, Will, did you come to a decision?
Yeah. I was actually going to do Kestrel as well. That exact same build. But I got a better one. Turfeneur.
Turfeneur.
We're going to get Turfeneur, which I think could actually work.
So Initiative 4, after you perform an attack, you may perform a barrel roll or boost action even if you are stressed.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to put Snapshot on him.
Okay.
So that, because I should be, well, maybe moving first. I'm not taking a bid at the end of this build, but so they can, Turfeneur's ability works on Snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
So you can reposition after you see them move. And he's got 2 mod slots, so why not both Afterburners and a hull upgrade? Free boost.
Oh, yeah. Bam. All right. And Peck 61480 actually is exactly where I was going for. Striker. You take Countdown, because that's hilarious. Take only 1 damage at a time. What do we do?
Fifth Brother.
Yeah, Fifth Brother. It's in
there.
There you go.
But
Fifth Brother.
can't forget your Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf, because it's free.
You got enough points for Afterburners or a bomb.
Prox mine.
Yeah, that seems good. Bam.
Make them regret chasing you down.
There you go.
64 points. Though, man, when Countdown dies, you're so sad. Like, oh, well, I had 4 turns. I didn't win the game.
You look at your opponent straight in the eye. I'm giving you an actual countdown.
You got 4 turns to do it. Let's go. All right, guys. Well, that's with all 7 factions. Real quick, just busting out some turkey shootout builds. Again, at 64 points. We're going to be doing the Toys for Tots event in Dubuque, Iowa. Hopefully you guys can make it out. We will be streaming it. It's going to be a little bit of a different setup because obviously there's the one ship on one ship. And I think what I'll do, since it is one ship on one ship, is I'm going to have we're going to do it similar to League Night, guys, and make it so that people keep track of their own stats. It's one ship. You can handle it. You can hold it, all right? And it's for charity, and I want to play. So that's how that's going to roll.
I got a question for the rules, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I actually really like Ryan's idea of Zubio, but since the asteroids stay, what happens when A, they get seismic, or B, proximity mines? So does that mean that we replace them after they get seismic, or if we're dropping proximity mines and go G mode on them, and we end up with 6 proxy mines by the end of the 3rd round? You know what?
All right. Let me. I think I can answer both of those for you. And this also has to do with I think Boba Fett and L3.
Okay.
Boba Fett's so expensive.
The what?
The crew.
Boba Fett.
The crew.
Yeah.
Crew. Is that you always go through setup phase. So L3 would always start face up. She wouldn't be on her programming. I believe last year, if you brought seismics, I'm not sure if anybody did, but you would just put the asteroid in the approximate location. Hopefully you didn't blow them all up and you had to rebuild
Goals.
it.
I'm not going to win, guys. I'm not going to win. I'm there just to give Brad a hard time.
I'm bringing Death Rain with trajectory and reloading every turn.
Yeah, that's. I believe the rules are that yes, you would have put them in about the appropriate approximate spot, but proxy mines and stuff like that would go away. It's technically a new game. New game.
That's hilarious.
Do you still have Final Salvo as the equalizer for any ties?
Yes, I want to say.
I thought
that, like,
he's
your
going to
big
introduce some type of stalling rule. I thought I saw him text us that.
I'm not even considering the stalling part. I highly considered recommending Deathfire and just saying we're gonna take Barrage Rocket's fifth brother and like some bombs, and if you both die at the same time, what happens?
Yeah, I don't know beyond. I want to say that he had a special rule instead of final salvo, but I'm not sure what it was.
All
We'll have
right.
to find out.
That's right. So, again, that's this weekend, guys. Hopefully you can make it out. We're going to have a super good time. And before we transition to our next topic, I want to remind you guys to hit that Twitch Prime button every 30 days. We did just elapse. So it's funny, right? So, of course, I get notifications when, as the sub count goes up and down. And, like, we just skipped a point where a bunch of people had subbed, so that like I'm getting the notifications like, oh my god, your subscriber base is crashing. It just looks really funny. So remember, every 30 days you can keep that streak up. Don't forget, it helps, and we love you for it. All right, the next topic I want to talk about, we're going to get a little more serious, a little more competitive-ish, maybe, if you want to.
My next Prime sub will be available in 20 hours. So you're going to have to remind me during League Night.
All right, League Night. Click the button. All right. So, how to create an opening. So, let me explain what I'm talking about first. And people have used this word interchangeably a couple different ways, and we might even do it ourselves, but I wanted to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So, basically, an opening is where and how you put your ships on the table at the start of the match. And it can also include what maneuvers you choose to do after placing those ships. I'll explain that here in a little bit. And I think that basically we come down to 3 different schools of thought. There's people who do it like step by step and do it the same every single time. Okay? There are people who kind of set guidelines from themselves as they have a general idea of what they like to do. And then there's those folks who just like to do it off the cuff. And some beautiful person put there in our notes, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Or they think they're about to, at least. Marcel.
That's a Mike Tyson quote, by the way.
Is that? All right. We have to
quote.
credit him in the notes, okay? Mike Tyson. Boom. So I want to start. I'm going to go a little out of order here. I want to start with off the cuff. All right. So off the cuff is as exactly what it sounds like. Is you don't really have a plan going in. You have your 3 ships. You kind of know what they're good at doing. You assess on the fly and just put stuff down. But I think before I even go too far into these, let's talk about what do we think competitively. If we're preparing for a competitive event, which one of these 3 schools of thought do you like to use?
I'll start. And
Go for it.
For me, it's off the cuff. The reason I like both my setup, my asteroid placement, and my approach to the game and like the first few turns, it's always off the cuff because it actually gets me in. It has me thinking critically from the very first maneuver that I set, and by that I mean when you're in the thick of things and every maneuver counts, then you're if you're planning your first few maneuvers and okay, the first maneuver I'm going to bump myself here, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that. And you're on autopilot for the first 3 or 4 rounds or 2 rounds or whatever number of rounds that is, or if you're playing if he does this, I'll do that. Then when it's time to actually get down and start thinking your maneuvers, it's a shift from a certain way of thinking to another way of thinking. Now that might work for some people, and it does work for some people. A lot of people that play formations and that play setups do well. But just for me, that's why if I do it jokingly, but for
not
a reason,
really.
Is when you see me and you and me play a lot. When you see me and I just throw the asteroid up in the air and it lands where it lands.
Right.
That is actually my strategy. My strategy is not have a strategy, just let things land the way they land, and allow me to just adjust to the board state and allow me to adjust to what the opponent's doing on the fly. And and it just keeps me. It plays to my strength because I think I tend to do well when I'm not trying to follow a script. When I've played other, when I play formations, for example, when I play tie swarms and stuff like that, I'm trying to follow a script, and I tend to stick to the script when I should probably break away and start, doing something different. So again, it depends on the play style, and for me, my play style, I just adjust, and that way I'm not surprised by what the enemy does, because I honestly don't care when the game starts, what you're going to do and where you're going to be.
Okay, cool. Ryan, where do you find yourself?
So I find myself mostly in the guideline plan. I have general set things like, and it's kind of reactionary too to my opponent. Like, if opponent does this, I will respond with this generally. I try to keep it not autopilot like, though, like automatic response equals this, like a droid or something. Roger. I play Separatists, maybe, Seer Swarm in Worlds, but I never want to do like, I know people who have like their 3-turn start setup, like they deploy in one of the corners, they specifically put things there, and they do 3 set maneuvers, and then they're off to go. And I personally don't like that, because I think there's potential chance in the first 3 turns that you could have jumped on something. A lot of people think that, you wait 3 turns and then the joust, or then the fight happens. And there's opportunities early in the game to get some good positioning if you catch your opponent on autopilot. That's why, like, I have a general, like, in my mind against certain matchups or certain movements and how the board state's evolving, what I want to do. But I generally, as I've practiced a list enough, I'll have about 2 to 3 different ideas of what I want to do in the beginning of the game as soon as I see my opponent's list and how deployment is going.
Cool. And what about you, Will?
Because I fly a lot of like multi-ships, talking 6 or 7, sometimes 8. I need the what is it? What's the third one?
Step by step.
Step by step. Yeah, I need the step by step. If you're flying like 6 or 7, because you can't just make it up on the fly. You'll end up either putting yourself in a terrible position or getting the bump train going, where everyone just becomes at crazy angles, and you can't swing everybody the different directions you want to. So if it's a practice tournament list and there's more than 3 ships in it, I take the step by step. I want to know from every deployment what's 2 or 3 different ways I can move all 7 of those ships.
Fair. Guys, totally, that was not... people at home, people were thinking like, oh, he planned this. He told them all to say a different one so that it was perfect. No, that totally on accident. That's hilarious. So, for myself, now, I got to put an asterisk here, because you guys got to remember, most of my X-Wing time is spent making content for you guys, and when I do get to play, it's very casual. This is when I do have the opportunity to like prepare for a tournament season, or say, all right, I am preparing for this thing. I am definitely step by step most of the time. And the reason is, even if it's a 2-ship list or a 3-ship list, a low count number, is it allows me to orchestrate a lot of things that I wouldn't be willing to try by just going off the cuff for myself. It's more of just like, what weird things can I do, or what out of the box ideas can I create that are going to catch my opponent off guard, because I've prepared something really cool. So while this, again, I haven't been able to really practice like that for a while because I've been focusing on the content and all that, but when I was playing in first edition and had a silencer and double alpha class gunboat list, I had a bunch of different openings that I did for that list, and at the end I came up with this really fun one that confused the last person I played with that list. It was absolutely hilarious. Where both of the gunboats started 45 degrees facing my board edge, like facing me, and it was this really fun, like how to fortress on turn like 4 with using slams and basically doing little circles and finding the perfect spot to take a silencer and perfectly block both of the alpha classes. It was hilarious. It took me a while to figure it out and execute it without like flying ships off the board, but when I got it, it was hilarious. And while that strategy for that list doesn't work anymore, it gave me an opportunity to create something that I wouldn't have been able to try otherwise, because I had just preparation before that match. Now, I think that for most people, I think a majority of X-Wing players, if you're playing between 3 to 5 ships, you're probably in that guideline group that Ryan was talking about. You have an idea of what you want to do going into the game, and you basically have some basic things you got to go through. So for instance, like, where is maybe the best place on the map for me to engage? Should I be jousting? Is that the right choice in this in this engagement? Now, it's funny, there's always the joke, you know, who's wrong when you see two ships jousting, two lists jousting each other? You know, do the math on that one. You got to figure that out yourself. Does flying near obstacles help my list or hurt me? Because sometimes, right, just depending on what you got going, if you are flying a bunch of vultures with grappling struts, you look at those rocks and say, oh, look, it's my second home. But let's say your opponent is flying, you know, a couple of squishy interceptors or something like that, some weird list. They probably don't want to go by those rocks. Seems like a bad idea with all those. Whether you want to play cagey or aggressive, are you a player that you think that your list needs to kind of hold back and wait for your opponent to develop, or are you taking your ships and just shoving them down your opponent's throat? And then whether to formation or not to formation. Now, this is an argument between a lot of different players. I feel like more casual players start off and take every list that they have and make a formation, because that seems really themey, right? You got a bunch of ships together going around and flying and doing cool things together. But sometimes it's the right choice when you need to create a beam of death. You got all those arcs pointed in the same way. Sometimes you need to spread them out if you got some arc dodgers out there. Or maybe you need to try to make kill boxes. Is there a reason for you to be in formation? This might end up kind of starting to leak into the step-by-step. You know, Marcel talked a little bit about TIE Swarm. So, for instance, if you have Howl Runner in your swarm, you need to keep your ships together in order to get that benefit. Same thing with Iden. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Why did you bring that tech if you're not going to use it? The whole point of the TIE Swarm is to bring this, like, shotgun of ships, and you're peppering people and essentially getting 2 hits most of the time. So those are some basic ideas on how you can think about going through your opening setups, or be like Marcel and just don't. Okay. Now, Marcel, I want to jump back to you. Now, while you say off the cuff, would you say that after practicing a list for a while, there are some maybe ideas of things you're like, all right, this worked last time, I should use that same strategy, something along those lines?
No, I actually don't. I don't do that, but what I do is
do. All right, continue.
Do. Ding, 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 ding. What I do is after playing for a while, I figure out what some of my own ship's weaknesses are and strengths. And more than anything, how fast they are. One of the things that I like to do is either start them together or start them apart. You saw with the world's list, typically I started them like in different corners, like completely apart. And what I'm trying to figure out is how fast sometimes it takes me a bit to learn how fast they get across to basically do to come in on a target, all shooting at the same time. So that takes. It doesn't. Well, I guess you can do it with practice if you're at home and you're trying it over and over and over again. But that that changes things a little bit. So a good example of that is with the Luke, Wedge, and AP5 list that I was flying. Is I figured out how fast AP5 is, and AP5 needs to be close to Wedge in order to give him the focus so he can come in double modded. And that, even though I never really put the same setup, the same the same setup twice, I knew how far they needed to be in order to be at range 2 or 3. So whether I started on the left, the middle, or the right, I knew that Wedge had to be like, if he was further than a range 3 ruler away, he was not going to be able to engage with double modded at turn 3. So I guess that's what you're saying. Like, yeah, after you play it for a while, you figure out what some of the, some of the things that don't work because you're playing off the cuff, and you put yourself at a bit of a disadvantage early. But I think putting yourself in a bit of a disadvantage early is also, again, it plays to my strength, where typically I can just go out and do something that I just think feels good at the moment. But after playing a list a few times, or if you go the practice route and you sit home and practice a few openings, that's when you start figuring out, if you have a coordinating ship, is it going to be at range 2 or 3? If how far do they need to be in order to get within that coordinating range, or that coordinating distance by, usually X-wings and AP5 are engaging in turn 3. So you want to make sure that by the third move that AP5 makes, he's going to be within range 2 of Wedge. So that's planned. It's not planned. That's just learned knowledge. That's practice knowledge, but it's not necessarily planned. Like, I don't, because, but
right, you're not sitting there like me and like plotting it out and being a crazy person.
Yeah, but that's one thing that I learned.
He said, yeah, all right.
No, it is because I've played against you, and that's what, I always know that, if you're playing, like when you were playing the Phantoms, you were going to put the rock in the corner. Right. You're going to take your range 3 ruler, the rock right there, because your first, the stalling fortress.
Don't be a hater, okay? Leave me alone. Anyway,
no, I don't mind. I don't actually really don't care about that at all. But
throwing shade. All right, continue.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right,
so
I got you.
You learn things with practice, but that's just learning things. I don't think it's changing, the way that you feel most comfortable and works best for you. None of them are right.
It's just different.
Which of them are right for you? Because each of you have a different, yeah. So it's not about what's right. It's just what's right for you.
Right. And then going back to the step-by-step, a couple of things. If this is something you want to go about creating some type of step-by-step for yourself, a couple of things you got to ask yourself is, like, how maneuverable is your list? And is there something that your list is trying to do or set up during the game that will inform your setup? So, for instance, we talked about the TIE Swarm. You need to make sure that Howl Runner is in the middle of this 6 block. And also, just like, for instance, have an idea. If a list that you shouldn't be jousting lines up across from you, you go, okay, I know that I need to turn all my ships this way and disengage, or I'm going to go fast or slow. Also, when you're creating these plans, be careful how complex you make them, because making a plan that you can't remember, of course, does not help you at all. So, and if you're going to make a plan, make it repeatable. Make sure that you're using tools that are, number one, legal in the game, which are you can use any of your templates or range rulers, but they must stay inside of range 1 in order to make those things. It's funny, in the rules reference for a long time, I'm actually not sure if it's still there, they used to say, like, you can't make, like, what's the word that they used to use? Maybe it's still there. You can't make yourself like a 3D printed, this is my setup, and, like, set your ships in there and take it apart. Like a template. You can't make yourself like a setup template, essentially, but you can create it with all your your tools, which if you've seen some players play, maybe you've seen them take their ships and use different rulers in between to determine their spacing. That's what they're doing. They're putting out a setup that seems good, or maybe they're following some rules that they've done for themselves, like always place a ship this far apart so they don't bump at a certain point. Should be pretty awesome. So any other thoughts from you gentlemen about creating a setup or a opening for a list? I know it's a really wide topic and we could get into the nitty-gritty, but right now I just want to kind of talk about the overview.
So let me, I think this is a point of distinction that I see a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people question it in X-Wing, and it's when you deploy your ship sideways. So instead of like deploying it downfield, you just point it in your own deployment zone. Right. Now you were talking about that with your Kylo and Star Wings, where you kind of flew around in your own deployment zone for a little bit before going to the enemy. But the point I was trying to make is that a lot of people don't think that, what do I say? So we had to put the asteroids in the middle of the board. I can't have them within range 2 of any board edge, right? So there's that the range 2 circle all around the board that doesn't have any asteroids in it. Most people, I would say, common, you deploy in the corner and then you kind of go up the neutral edge. I think that that's what I want to ask you guys is how much difference do you think it makes of going down the neutral edge versus going down your deployment zone, assuming you guys kind of set up far away from each other?
I think it really depends on the list you're using. At least, I mean, it was a huge deal for when I used Seer Swarm and formation flying in general, because I needed to find the best way to point as many of my arcs at my opponent once I finally entered the engagement. And that's done by showing, like, I have 6 to 7 ships that are in a line because they can't, like, they're in 2 rows because they can't fit in a block in deployment. So if they're on the other corner of the board and where they're positioned, how the rocks are, I'll either one turn and go along my own board edge until I turn back up in the middle of the board so that all my 2 rows are facing them, not my 3 to 4 columns, because otherwise they can attack and isolate each column of droids. And I don't want them to do that. If I want to go up the edge of the board, I'll 5 straight one group and I'll 2 straight barrel roll to the board edge with the other group. And then when I turn in the board edge from the neutral edge, I've reset my gun line, so to say. So it's making sure that if you're more of a jousty type list and you have formations, it will matter a lot which way you go, because you need to make sure that your gun lines are set in the most optimal manner. And that also includes formations that have multitude of initiative values. So you want to make sure you don't set yourself up in weird situations where you have a ship that is now turning from the back line before everyone else just because of initiative values, or you don't have, say, a medium or large base ship impeding your movement and turns.
Absolutely. Another thought when it comes to actually going out into the board is I find it really interesting that most people are only comfortable, like Will was saying, you go up that neutral edge, you're going forward, and you kind of want the game to end up being in the middle, and that's like the comfort zone. But there's times where, depending on your list, where you might need to flip the board, right? Where it's like, all right, we're going to fly this circle around the board, and now my ships are now flying back towards me. And that's how you end up engaging. Or you end up kind of doing this circle, and now you're coming from the sides, and it looks like you're watching Gold Squadron stream because you're watching it from the from the sides. But being comfortable with flipping the board in your mind and maybe finding an advantageous angle that way when you realize, all right, so going from my board edge into the rocks doesn't look good, but coming from the other side does. The whole idea, I'll quote Ender's Game here, right? The enemy's gate is down, right? It's just taking that perspective and shifting it depending on the situation. So, yeah. Anything else? Guys, great discussion.
That matters a lot with asteroids too. Like if you do have your step-by-step guideline of how you want to fly your swarm, or how you like to get all your aces kind of surrounding your opponent, you have to take the asteroids into account on that. We didn't really talk about like asteroid placement in that, just more or less like ship placement, basically.
Oh, that's a whole nother day.
Well, yeah, true. But what I'm saying is that like if the like what you're saying, kind of like rotating it, of like you could build the asteroid field that you want. It just might not look like it to you. You might have to fly around and make it yours. I guess the common example is when you get how best to describe it? It's like the right angle triangle. Basically, all of the asteroids aren't shoved into one side of the board. They're shoved into like one corner.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. So it creates only
a diagonal, like something across the middle of the board, and in like the 3 of the 4 corners.
Exactly. Yeah, 3 of the 4 corners. Yeah, exactly. And like that's goofy. Like you actually need to approach that weird triangle of asteroids in a certain way, depending on what your list is. Like some lists cannot go into that big open area, so don't deploy anywhere next to it.
Yeah. Absolutely love it.
So,
all right.
One final thing. When you mentioned the Ender's Game thing, the gate is down or the gate is open. That's another discussion I think I'd like to have as a topic in the future, is recognizing when the gate is down. I think a lot of people miss that opportunity in games, and recognizing when their opponent is vulnerable. Because I personally the misnomer is whoever commits first is more likely to lose. I don't believe in that. I think if you can commit, and that puts a lot of pressure on your opponent at the right time.
Absolutely.
So, recognizing when the gate is down is probably another discussion for another day, though.
Episode 133. All right. All right, guys. So we're going to jump here to our question of the day. I didn't make a template for this one because this one had a lot of words and it wouldn't have fit. Wouldn't look pretty. But I think it's an interesting question here. So this comes from A. Hagee on our Discord server. Anybody can join our Discord server, though. If you are a patron, you can connect Patreon to Discord in order to get into the Patreon-only rooms. So let me go through his question here. Bear with me. So it says, so I want to set up my question with some quick numbers before I ask my question. At the moment, there are 8 released Rebel ships, and they need 7 more for re-release for 2nd edition. 6 Empire released, need 8 more for re-release. 9 Scum released, 8 needed for re-release. The Resistance needs only 2 more release, plus getting any new Unseen ships. First Order needs 1 more re-release, plus getting new ships. The question is, if most factions have about half of their release content already, do you think that FFG will have every ship re-released, so that's anything that came out in 1st edition, by the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021? Also, when do you think we could see more new ships added to the new factions, such as added to the old factions, such as the new Scum Mandalorian ship that you speculated about last cast, not class, sorry, teacher here. And do you think the Scum Hawk will be re-released with a Scum repaint and a Rebel repaint, or just one ship? Basically, if it only took about a year to release half the ships, would it just take another year to get the other half? So I'll start by saying, I mean, the math that you put out there seems like they could get out the other half in one more year. I question, though, whether they're going to keep the same pace of release that we have right now, because these waves have been fairly big. And there's an interesting, like, I assumed that everything would be re-released no matter what. But the interesting precedent that they're setting with the Saw Gerrera's pack and the TIE Reaper is, we have a lot of first edition stock of that out. Mind you, that was the last thing they released, so we're not going to re-release it. I'm curious to know how that will end up affecting their release schedule, as well as we've seen from like hyperspace choices that they're willing to put things into the hyperspace lineup that haven't been re-released. So, I mean, the math seems good, but I think there are some other questions that need to roll into here. Yeah, we definitely are wondering, like, when will the old factions, meaning Rebel, Empire, and Scum, get brand new ships that we haven't seen before? But then we also have the question of the current new factions, Resistance, First Order, Grand Republic, and the Separatists. Like, how much can they or will they be built out before we get new ships? Because then you just start making the gap even bigger. Thoughts?
I want to say that that I do think that they're going to slow down. We've been seeing waves with up to six re-releases in them. Mm-hmm. I think was the last one. And yeah, I fully expect that to slow down now that there's like a base of those black packages out there in the wild, that they won't need to include such mounts anymore. Though I do like the new paint jobs. There was the boss ship getting a repaint job, so I could actually see the Hawk getting a Scum and a Rebel release.
Awesome. Somebody else was going to jump in there. The Z95,
yeah, go
right?
ahead, Brett. Yeah, but the Z. Well, I guess the bosses has the Z95 got a Scum release, but no Rebel release yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Z95 got a repaint. The Seek got a repaint. The RZ1 A-Wing that's coming out is going to get more of a Phoenix Squadron from Rebels TV show type repaint instead of like the Jake Farrell blue that we see on this card. Mm-hmm. I think we are going to see a bit of a slowdown. My guess is not only is it because it was within the first year, but I think FFG may be realizing that like this is a lot that they've put out already, especially for re-releases. And my guess is I don't think they sell like obviously as well as the brand new ships. Right. So they might want to let the stock that's out there right now, especially for how like it's half, like that's a big chunk already. And a lot of the ships that are left aren't as widely viewed as being really popular. Chemogilla, TIE Aggressor, that's stuff that like down the line, they're more likely to add on if it's maybe if it's a request enough. I assume they plan to re-release everything, but there's some ships that maybe I could see them not re-releasing for a pretty long time.
Yeah, I thought they had already spoken to that they were going to slow down specifically because a lot of stores had old stock on the shelves and they weren't pushing through, and just for retailer support, if they push out new ships, and new ships for 2.0 and they still have 1.0 stock out there for those, then they're just they're kind of hanging the stores and the retailers out to dry, because now nobody's going to buy those old ships. They're just going to buy the new ones. So and they definitely don't do buybacks. So they're not going to buy back old stock. So I thought they had already.
That was mentioned just for Saws and the Reaper. That's it.
Okay. Well, I would say if they mentioned it for Saws and Reaper, that I mean, if they mentioned it already, that means that they're already getting pushback from the retailers, from the game stores, and I would expect them to slow down. Just and maybe, there's ways to go about it. For example, to help retailers, and I'm hoping they're looking into things like this. So, for example, they're releasing the new packs, right, with new pilots and new pilots for the Jump Master and things like that. So so now that they've opened the door to just cardboard and paper products for X-Wing, you can see them releasing a conversion kits for single ships. Like, that's a possibility. If there are Lambda shuttles out there, and there are or whatever, let's say what's out there that hasn't been
We have
yet?
a mountain at Pastimes. We have a mountain of resistance bombers.
Okay, so bombers. There's a ton of bombers, and I'm assuming a ton of TIE fighters and X-Wings out there that are still 1.0. What's stopping FFG, similar as they did with Worlds, to release just cardboard in a simple pack, kind of like the Pokemon decks? Just release the cards and the cardboards conversion kits, and release them at a cost, so that the retailer, they have a $15 X-Wing, and for an extra $250 they sell it as a bundle. Okay, here's your 1.0, and here's your $2.50 conversion kit for that, only with that one chip, a 1-for-1. So those things are available, and I'm hoping they're looking into that, because again, they did it at Worlds with the prize support of just giving out those packs. All they have to do is figure out a way to package them, and you can really just package them in a foil, like I said, in similar to what they do with the Pokemon decks or the Magic the Gathering decks, and help the game stores that are stuck with old outdated inventory, push it out and still be legal and viable for 2.0 play.
Okay. And I think right now for
that's why they would pay me the big bucks. They won't.
I know, and then I'm gonna take the flip side of the coin. With, for instance, the Saw and Reaper release, one of the comments I saw after we published our episode, and a lot of people saw this, was the fact that there are some distribution areas that are completely dry of some of the stock. So the FFG current stance is, there's plenty out there. Everybody should be able to get what they need. But so for instance, I saw a lot of Australian posts saying, we don't have any of that out there, and they have a lot of up and coming players there. So FFG trying to balance this new player versus previous player, I think, is probably an issue that any company that creates a new edition of their game that uses the old product is going to have. And I mean, I think like money talks, right, Marcel? So if they know that a new ship for the Empire, or let's just be honest, the Razor Crest, okay, or whatever the ship is actually called. We don't know if it is a Razor Crest class ship or if it's called the Razor Crest, but the Mandalorian ship. If they released that in X-Wing, that thing would fly off the shelves, absolutely fly off the shelves. But Scum doesn't need more ships, right? Numerically. Where are they going to go? Are they going to go for the money? Or are they going to go for the balance? I don't know. I
think when you have ships like, we were talking about like ships that they might not re-release, and that's like E-Wings, TIE Aggressors, Chemo Gilas.
As I look at my 4 on the shelf, if you want one, let me know.
Like,
we could trade.
But yeah, it's not that these aren't like bad ships or they're not designed well in X or anything like that. It's the fact that they're not in the movies, and they're not in the latest medium that Star Wars is pushing lately.
Yep.
So it doesn't make any business sense to go out of your way to make a special E-Wing package to put on the shelf when you could put a Mandalorian ship and put a big old from the TV show Mandalorian sticker on it.
Slap it on.
Yeah, like just like exactly what to do with the new Force Awakens core in first edition. They're like, from the Force Awakens movie, there's gonna be a whole trilogy of these shows. You better jump on now. Like when it's ships that are that iconic, like that the main characters are flying them, they're like in every like piece of promotional artwork and stuff. Like those ships, they gotta go on sale for sure. Like it seems dumb not to.
Is anyone still surprised that we haven't seen the TIE Brute from Solo yet?
I was really missed opportunity. I think missed cash opportunity for FFG. Saying.
We thought the more corrected pilots from the U-Wing and the Partisans took a while from Rogue One, but I mean, we're almost We're gonna be when did Solo come out? Was it 2019?
2 summers ago.
Yeah. Like what the heck?
Yeah, but they got the Falcon out within 6 months though, that movie though.
I know. That's why I was really confused. But I mean looking at the numbers given to us, I mean, Empire is in line with stuff, and besides the Han Solo or Lando's Falcon am I missing any actual new released ships for the original 3 factions besides that one?
Mining Guild TIE.
Mining Guild TIE, okay.
Fact.
I think that's it.
So we're saying the Empire.
The OG factions haven't gotten anything.
So we're saying that the Mining Guild TIE. So Scum's got 2 things that have been new releases so far, while Rebels and Empire have got nothing. Granted, I don't know what to give Rebels, but at least Empire would get the TIE Brute.
Right. I don't know. There's lots of books out there with different ships, and I mean there's content out there if they want it. It does exist. I mean that's a whole nother faction, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I started playing the Old Republic, the MMORPG again. The Bounty Hunter and the Mandalorian made me want to play my Bounty Hunter again.
Makes sense.
And I'm flying like the that ship that they give the Bounty Hunter. It's got like a triangular engine. I'm like, man, that would be great. That's like that'd be so cool in X-Wing.
I think the ship from Jedi Fallen Order, that like transport ship, would be a rebel ship, I believe.
No spoilers, by the way, Jedi Fallen Order. I have not bought it or played it, but I will. So I saw people starting to post like
don't watch the stream. Don't watch the stream when it says Jedi Fallen Order when it pops up. By the way, I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order on stream. Hang out with me while I play. I can only really play an hour at a time because I get motion sickness, but it's fun.
It's so awesome.
Watch me be bad at games.
Dion, you gotta roll more. Just constantly roll.
What difficulty are you playing on?
Oh, the story mode, baby. I don't.
Aww.
I got. Look at me, Ryan. Look at me in the face. I can't play video game. I can only play an hour at a time. And when do I have time? Like oh, my wife's taking a shower and my daughter's in bed and the script's written tomorrow. I have an hour.
You're a very busy person.
I got to practice video games. What? I don't got time for this. I want to see the story. I would have been. If we were playing. Okay, Chris Allen tried to call me out. He said like Grandmaster or you have no guts, but use a more vulgar way.
Grandmaster.
Okay.
I've been playing Grandmaster as well.
Yeah, and I was like, I would be stuck on the tutorial still. Okay, that first level, I'd still be there.
So I'm Jedi Master, not the highest. I went second highest. I treat it like Halo. Play heroic, not legendary at first.
Sure.
All right. The game's gonna break you. All right. It's gonna teach. It's gonna. It's gonna punish you until you learn how to play it.
And it kind of like Dark Souls. It feels really good when you finally do it, but it's not as bad as Dark Souls.
I beat Dark Souls.
If you can play Dark Souls, you can play Fallen Order.
Yeah.
All right.
It took me forever, but I beat
We're way off. We got too distracted.
It's fine. I've been streaming on the channel.
That's true.
So it counts. True. Anyway, so looking at the time, oh man, are we gonna have? Will, you even took the time to put in this list of the week? Let's go. Let's hit it. Let's hit it real quick. All right, are you ready?
I like this list. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's do it then. Let's make sure we got it. All right. It's list of the week. List of the week. Time. Will, you chose it. Give us the intro.
All right. This is from XPav yesterday. this might have been. I think his name is XPath, and it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. Anyways, he says, I want E-Wings to happen. It says, Jake and Garvin support the E-Wings with focus tokens. Pretty simple here. I got Garvin in the X-Wing. When he spends a focus token, he gives it to somebody else. Jake Farrell, when he does boosted barrel roll, gives out focus tokens. There's your support squad. And the E-Wings of this list are Rogue Squadron Escorts, arguably way better than whoever the lower initiative ones are. I don't even know the name of the lower initiative ones.
Knave.
Get out of here. Rogue Escorts all the way. They both have fire control system and R4 astromechs, arguably giving them the best dial of the game. What do you think, Ryan? How do you make E-Wings work?
In this list specifically, or just in general?
Well, you gotta by our rules. You can
All right. So by rules,
you can change out one ship and all the upgrades you want.
So I was looking to see if I could change Garvin into Arc 170 Garvin.
Sure, you can do that. Nobody cares. As long as I think in this build, as long as you have the Rogue Squadron Escorts in there.
Yeah.
I think that's the base of this.
That leaves you over 1 point.
Let's see. All right, well, take the R4 astromechs off. Because I don't see how often you're linking with these ships. Their link to actions are terrible with their ability.
Give you the hard one.
It's really just the hard one whites.
Hard one.
Yeah.
And coming out of sloops.
So, yeah, Garvin, the Arc 170, Jake with crack shot, and then the rogues retain their fire control system, but then they also gain crack shot. Then you're at 200.
Why the arc over the X-Wing?
Make it. I think, what is it, statistically in an X-Wing versus an Arc 170, is Arc 170 live a little longer by like a shot?
Yeah, that makes sense. 9 on 1 versus 6 on 2.
Yeah. Granted, I do see how if Garvin, because he's in an X-Wing with 2 agility, he's more likely to be able to spend that focus token on both attack and defense than mainly just attack with the Arc 170 Garvin. So I see the argument either way. If you do go back to T65 Garvin, I'd probably just put crack shot on him too. They have 4 crack shots in the list, and as we saw from Worlds, crack shot's good.
All right, Marcel, what would you do?
Point a shotgun at it. Yeah, blow it up. No. So I am gonna kind of blow it up because William adjusted the rules on this one inadvertently. So he said the only thing that matters are the rogue squadrons. So let's keep the rogue squadrons. Take Garvin and Jake out. Rogue squadrons are amazing ships. They don't need support. You want to give them support? Give them advanced sensors. So go ahead and throw that on there.
Instead of fire control?
Yep.
Okay.
Because, you don't have to give them a focus. If
They
don't
are
run anything else.
66
They
points.
have it. And then just click a copy on one of those. No said. Just get 3 of them out there. All advanced sensors. Actually, throw 2 crack shots on there just because you got 2 points and.
I don't want to.
Crack shots.
No.
Who needs points? Yep. Throw some crack shots on there.
Because now they're all 66 points. Order 66. It's great.
There you go.
My theme. All right, but yeah, we'll throw the crack shots on. That's probably the right choice.
Yeah, so 2 of them with crack shot, advanced sensors, R4, and if you want to make E-Wings good, this is good. They'll come in
Play more E-Wings? Is that's your solution?
Yeah, yes. I mean, if you want E-Wings, why stop at 2, right?
There you go. All right, and Will, what would you do?
All right. I want fire control system on them. I want to keep that. I'm trying to find another support ship. I personally like Jake. I think that's a great idea. Honestly, I'm going to go a different route. I actually flew this the other day, and I'm going to go all out on these rogue squadrons. Let's put some drop Garvin. It's a really good idea. I think it's not bad how it is. But if you took Garvin out of there, let's load these guys up with proton torpedoes and elusive. Then also R3 lets them have 2 locks. Yeah, what's our points at right now?
You got 186, 14 left.
Let's get a proton rocket and something good. I don't know.
Outmaneuver.
Yeah, I want to say outmaneuver, but like, I guess, yeah, outmaneuver it is. Oh yeah,
like we said before,
kind of like a little bit of a bid, but
you don't need no bid. You're initiative 4.
yeah, I kind of want the bid though.
But I want it anyway.
The problem I have is that
other 4s out there.
The problem is that I just don't like how Crackshot doesn't work with proton rockets. That always makes me sad.
Yeah, because it's primary only. Remember, I've seen lots of mistakes.
Range 1 is the same. It still rolls 4 dice. So people want to get in, say, I don't want a proton rocket. I'll take your range 1 instead. Okay.
I will say I have played a game against elusive E-wings, and that's hard to kill. It's annoying.
Yeah, because these guys they already get their lock. They fly around just taking evades, and Jake hooks them up with focus tokens and try to shoot torps.
What if instead of loading up Jake with stuff, you put so you load all upgrade slots with the Rogue Squadron escorts and add afterburners to both of them and just make Jake Crackshot?
I like those afterburners on there.
So thick. So thick. Yeah, it does some awesome work there to help you control range for those torpedoes.
Yeah, I actually like that quite a bit. Because those Jake can keep up with those things.
Oh yeah.
He's not slowed down. That's why I was actually gonna the point I was gonna make about Garvin X-Wing versus Garvin Arc in this is that any Garvin X-Wing has a boost, which means your whole list has a boost. So you are not slow.
Yep.
I like load them up. 81-point rogues. Let's get it.
All right, so that's been our list of the week section. We're going to go into our very abbreviated, because we're hitting almost a 2-hour mark here. Our Mandalorian spoiler section. Marcel, I think you said you needed to step away.
I do. No, I don't want any Jedi Fallen Order spoilers.
Oh, okay. So
I've seen Mandalorian.
Oh, you seen all right, we're all good. Mandalorian episode 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Suka.
Okay. All right, so again, if you are watching live or listening in your car and you have not watched The Mandalorian, especially our friends in, I think, like Australia doesn't have Disney Plus yet. Most of Europe, like, so just turn it off now. Here's your opportunity. Here's your warning. Okay, Mandalorian talk starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so
Baby Yoda has the Force.
Baby. You did it again. I can't.
He's going to do it every
Gold
time.
Squadron out. We're done. I'm just kidding. All right. Every time.
One quick disclaimer. Don't spoil it for your international friends, because they're going to see Rise of Skywalker before we will, and they'll get revenge.
Fact.
Rise of Skywalker. Oh, like
I know. I have been cringing every time I see somebody post a Baby Yoda photo. I cringe as I was like, "Ooh, it's not even been 2 weeks yet, guys. Come on, chill it out a bit."
I think people are treating it like casual because it's like, oh, it's just a TV show. It's like, no, not.
I mean, if you haven't seen me, if you can get it on your phone, if you haven't seen it now.
Yeah.
Well, all of us have. All you people are cool and have seen it already and stuck around after the spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Is it available in all countries now? Disney Plus? I know it wasn't.
It is
all
not.
of them.
It is
Some
not.
of them are. I think
No.
Spain and a couple of European countries said till March.
Yeah, don't make them angry. They'll see. They have the time zone advantage on us.
Said 4, 3, 2, 1. I waited till after the one enunciation was complete.
Right there.
Oh, yeah,
That's what I was looking for.
You're good. This is to all the other people out there that might have international friends.
Yeah, but definitely. Yeah, don't go post spoilers on Facebook. Don't be that person. But yeah, so we got Baby Yoda with the Force. Look at that. Looking so strong. Oh, by the way, I have to mention this again because all right, there is a pretty big Star Wars fan at my job, and I was discussing Star Wars stuff with them, and they I was calling it Baby Yoda because it's a Yoda's race, but they literally thought it was Baby Yoda. This time, that timeline doesn't work unless it's like Yoda reincarnated. This is after Return of the Jedi.
Can I throw my?
It does work. It could be Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I got an idea for why it's actually Baby Yoda.
You're thinking?
On a tangent
theories.
Now?
Go.
All right. Have you seen the last season of Star Wars Rebels?
Oh, the world between worlds.
World between worlds. Okay. So at some point in time,
hold on. Let me pull up that now.
Rebel spoilers also included.
Rebel spoilers.
Well, I'm not going to say how the world between worlds gets used, but in spoilers. But guess what? There's a world between worlds, and crazy theory is that the only way the Mandalorian and plus friends who are yet to be found yet, the only way to save Baby Yoda is to put him in the past.
Jeez. So how do they get to the world between worlds then in the Mandalorian?
He meets a cool Jedi.
Is her name Ahsoka?
Well, yeah, that would be awesome. You know what? That's the new theory now. Mandalorian meets Ahsoka, who knows about. See, now you're making me spoil it already. She knows about the world between worlds. Yeah, and she goes through, and that's how she saves Baby Yoda.
Or do we meet another Mandalorian that also survived? That may have very artistic flavor.
Ooh, Sabine.
That makes more sense.
Ooh, yeah. She also doesn't look like a weird space creature. So she's just orange for some reason.
Dave Filoni said that a character from Rebels would be in Mandalorian, according to Peck in the chat. So that's the one thing that all these theories of connecting Rebels and other stuff Filoni's done is like, I'm not sure, since he's only had Clone Wars and Rebels, which could have natural connections just because, I mean, clearly Ahsoka, but like, I don't know if he's willing to go that far of a connection, because like Clone Wars to Rebels, well, no, that was about 20 years in Star Wars canon year time ish.
That seems right.
Just think of Skywalker's
how old Luke is.
Yeah.
Based off Luke's age. So he was about 19 in A New Hope. He was about 25, 26 by The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
So and there was 7 years between the Empire Strikes Back and The Mandalorian.
All right, so does feet like there is the time connection is not terrible for him to make story stuff. So, I don't know, maybe Filoni does a big connection between stuff.
Maybe. Like, I think the like, talking about now shifting to maybe the main character. Is the main character Baby Yoda the whole time? Who knows? I think it's important. I'm curious to see.
People be mad about that, though.
With Yoda?
I don't know. Like, I'm curious to know, like, are we going to see, like, is the Mandalorian going to be like, this my baby kind of thing? Or is he going to give him up? I mean, that would break everybody's heart. Like, he just gave him up.
I forget what someone referenced. There's like a book.
There's
and it's basically
a book about a warrior who, or it's either Japanese or Chinese, about a warrior who.
It's Japanese samurai.
Yeah, samurai.
And it's his son, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you mention this a ton on the most recent Fly Better cast?
Yeah, and that's a pretty popular, I wouldn't say like archetype or whatever, but like that's a trope that they could do, and like that's like the whole series is like the relationship between the Mandalorian and the Baby Yoda, because I mean, what is it, plasteel? Is that the
Mandalorian medal?
Yeah, what is it?
It's Beskar.
Beskar, yeah.
Beskar?
Beskar.
Yeah.
Beskar. Yeah, I mean that's really right. Like his conundrum right now is that like he wants to turn into Baby Yoda to get all that juicy Beskar, so that he looks really good in his Mandalorian clan, or he can start his new one, or whatever he really wants to do with being like the Mandalorian or whatever. But he's gonna have to sacrifice that Baby Yoda though, and if they go on all these crazy adventures together, is he gonna give him up?
Fujis in the chat mentions Mandalorian culture from the books says that he could adopt the Baby Yoda as his kid. Baby Yoda with a Mandalorian helmet with ear holes. Ooh. Yes.
So what you're telling me, everyone's favorite fantasy of a Mandalorian Jedi could be possible?
Actually, it already
it's a canon. It actually already has happened, canon, yeah. But it's in canon. It happened. He was the Darksaber. That's his. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Mandalorian episode 2 overall synopsis, real good. I know some people were complaining that it was a shorter episode, but I think it was some good character development, and it leaves us all wanting more. We're excited for Friday. Yeah. So
we actually got I get a completely different perspective or a different point of view as well, right? Because I when I watch it with Kayla. And I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, and I go on Wikipedia and and all that stuff, and all that.
Right.
Like everything is like, oh wow, to me. Like I'm a huge nerd about it, and she's like, yeah, that's cool. So the first episode left her completely like excited. She was like, oh, let's watch more Star Wars stuff. And we ended up watching, so just to give you guys where she is. So she's seen episode 1, 2, 3, 4, Han Solo, Rogue One. She's seen Han Solo, Rogue One, and episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the next one coming up is episode 5. And she wants to murder Vader. She hates Vader, but her favorite movie so far has been episode 3. So from her perspective, like I saw it, I was like, hey, this is really cool, because they gave a lot of backstory, and her take on it was like, this one was kind of boring. So I'm just curious to see, like, as they're going to the masses, and then they're trying to attract more than just the diehards like us, is how much do they go into the actual backstories and character development in short 30-minute episodes versus just keeping a lot of gunning and shooting and action and more of the just what would keep the attention of people who aren't diehard fans or some.
Well, I mean, in that episode, you have the Mandalorian chasing down a Jawa fortress and a battle with a space rhino. I mean,
get it. I'm just telling you.
That's like half the episode is both those things.
I'm just telling you.
What do you want?
Hey, ask her. She's probably listening.
Kayla, what do you want?
Kayla, what do you want?
But, she wants more robots doing cool things. I would say, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I mean that was her.
Oh, and there's a fight with the Trandoshans. That's like the opening. There's so much fighting.
Disintegrations.
Oh yeah, we got to see disintegration for the first time. That was pretty cool.
Man, it was Jawa got shot and poof.
What?
The Jawas, man, they got sniped.
Yeah.
And every time they get sniped, they just like over exaggerated Obi-Wan cloak just up in the air. Poof.
Oh yeah.
Because that was the one with the Force.
Yeah, man. They sure know how to take apart a ship really quickly, apparently.
Oh man,
They must have grown up in Southside Chicago.
It's true, all of it. All right, everybody. Well, The Mando jacks up his armor for some eggs. It's delicious. Suka! And we'll end there, guys. Make sure you guys tune back next Tuesday or listen in next Wednesday for episode 132 of the Gold Squadron podcast. Actually, wait. Next Wednesday, we will not have a show because it is the day before Thanksgiving and I will not be at my house. So I will see you the week after that.
Wait,
Yeah.
Next Tuesday, we will not have a show?
We will not have a show next Tuesday because I am driving from here to Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ohio.
It's where my in-laws live. So that's the plan.
Ryan can handle it.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Marcel's like, I want a podcast. I don't want to do any of the work. All right, guys. So thanks.
Hey,
Thanks.
Sounds about right.
I'm familiar with this feeling.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Gold Squadron out.